Hey Ottawa, this is your Monday market snapshot for the Ottawa real estate market for Monday, July 1st, 2024. We are halfway through 2024 and my name is Annalie Rice. I'm a realtor in Ottawa, Ontario, although I'm not in Ottawa today, and I hope you are having a fantastic Canada Day long weekend. This update is going to be shorter than normal. I'm not doing the different regions of the city, but I do have just the overall city stats, and I'll share them really quickly here. Okay, so citywide, we see that the active inventory actually dropped for the first time since early spring. We have fewer homes on the market than we did last week. I'm sure it's just a blip, but we'll talk about that. The sales were actually up this week, and that's probably because a lot of people just wanted to get things wrapped up before the long weekend. Fridays are nice and time to get conditions taken off and celebrate a new home purchase on a long weekend. Okay, so our overall inventory, you see that dropped. It actually dropped down to kind of what we had 3 weeks ago. And the active inventory dropped a little bit kind of to what we were at 2 weeks ago. Sales were up slightly, and there's still a solid number of conditionally sold properties out there. So although I do think that next week's sales numbers will drop, it probably will recover a little bit after that. Okay, so we had 388 properties listed this week. You can see that it is a huge drop. It brings us back all the way to like kind of March levels of new inventory or new listings, sorry. And you can see that both the number of actual new to the market listings and the relisted properties both dropped off as well. We had 110 of the properties, or 28%, were relisted properties, and 278 were actual new listings to the market. That was 72%. So the ratios are the same. It's just that the numbers are just down. And that totally makes sense because of the long weekend. People don't want to list right before a long weekend if they're staying home. They know that people aren't going to be out shopping for homes during the long weekend. So if they're prepping, maybe they'll come on next week or maybe a week after. I do expect next week will be a little bit lower as well, just because Canada Day is on the Monday, so it's eating into that monthly stats. Okay, so I actually had to re-record these ones, so sorry for the breakdown of continuity here. But for the sales this week, okay, so we had 282 sales this week, and 12% of those sales were with no conditions. 24% were at or above asking. So you can see on both of those graphs there, those are big drops from past weeks. We've been sitting around 20 to 17% for no conditions, and closer more like 30% or 28%, I think it was last week, for about at or above asking. So definitely drops this week, probably a little bit of a blip because of the long weekend and such. People just having less buyers out there potentially. Then we look at the sales within 7 days. We had 35 properties sold within the first 7 days. That was 12% of the sales this week. And 34% of those sold with no conditions, and 69% at or above asking price. Those are both down by a little bit, like 3% for the no conditions and 2% for the at or above asking price. Sales within 30 days represented 57% of the sales. It was 159 properties, and 13% with no conditions. That was a drop of 5%, and 38% at or above asking price, which was just slightly down from past weeks. Okay, so when we look at or above asking price, we had 69 homes that sold at or above asking price, and 47 of those, which was 68%, were at asking or up to 1% over, so just slightly over asking price. 19%, which was 13 properties, sold between 1 and 5% over asking price. And then we had 13%, which was 9 sales, were above 5% or higher above asking price. So the highest percent this week was 25% over asking. It was a condo listed at $299,900, and it sold for $375,000. And then the highest dollar amount over was $100,000 over asking. It was a detached century home in the Glebe, which is a pretty desirable neighborhood, obviously, listed for $1.25 million and then sold for $1.35 million. Okay, and so that's all I have for the update this week. Again, I did not get into the details of the different regions of the city, and I'll do that next week, as well as the month-end stuff for June. And I hope everybody had a fantastic long weekend enjoying Canada Day. If you listen this long, it's also my birthday, so I'm actually not at home and I'm in a different part of the province celebrating my birthday. So happy Canada Day. See you next week. Bye.